Addressing Sprint 3 issues, I went through and separated all the engine code from the user code in the actual file structure, not just the Visual Studio project filters. I also implemented attorney client for all my friend classes, just to show one example. When the game needs to destroy the model manager at the end of the game, it has to do so through the attorney, which is a friend to it, and then in and of itself gets the private terminate from the model manager. Addressing Sprint 4 issues, I did set up a factory to demonstrate the game object lifecycle. It works mostly the same as the ones we've been doing. The main differences are that when the factory creates and recycles the bullets, instead of directly initializing and terminating them, it's mostly just submitting the update and draw registrations, and instead submits the entry and exit commands. Then when those process, it goes through the process of registering everything else. On top of this, since we can't tie the live bullets directly to the scene now, the pool has to also maintain a list of all the bullets that are alive and then delete both of those on destruction. I'm going to run a test now to show. I think there should only ever be 2 instances of the bullet created at once with how I have the spawn and despawn rates set up. So there's 1 bullet, 2, and from this point out it's all reusable bullets. And everything cleans up as it should. I also wrapped the access to the current camera in an easier to call class function within the scene manager, and I have the time processing before the scene update now. Alright, for new sprint material, I implemented scene changing. Uses the same 2 constant command pattern that we discussed in class. Every time the scene updates, it just executes whichever command is currently active, and if it is the change scene one, it works like this. Essentially cleans up the old scene first, which involves first calling scene end on it in order to delete like the game object specific to that scene, then deletes it, calls the destructor, and when the destructor reaches the base scene level, it'll go through and clear out all the managers for that scene. From that point, the new scene is initialized, which goes through all the bells and whistles to create the game object specific for the new scene and get them registered to the new managers specifically for that scene. Alright, I surprisingly did not have a whole lot of trouble implementing this. I tried different combinations of inputable, armable, updatable registration and deregistrations. I used separate factories. I haven't really had any issues with anything so far. I'm just going to show a simple test of scene changing. These 2 scenes will both have different factories and both have different enemies. One will use the repeating alarm to register and deregister its own updates. The other will use them to deregister and register its own draws. And down in the bottom left is a different factory for different objects. And you'll notice by the output I am like entirely resetting the factory between scenes as well. Alright, I implemented the time freeze as well. This is the updated process time function, and the freeze time code itself is exactly the code you provided us.